What if the most powerful journey belongs to a rival that isn't trying to beat you, but just to prove that he can stand right next to you? This is Wally. Most players will barely remember him, but behind that determined stare is a story more powerful than any other rival in Pokemon. While others were trying to beat you, Wally was fighting to belong. His journey wasn't about proving he was better than you. It was about proving his own worth from the beginning. And the truth behind his struggle will change how you see Pokemon rivals forever. Wally started his journey so sick that he couldn't even catch a Pokemon on his own. He was so frail, so quiet, that he basically vanished for most of the story, becoming an almost forgotten footnote in your race against Team Magma and Team Aqua. You almost completely forget he exists. And then, at the end of it all, when you're standing at the gates of the Pokemon League, there he is. Not a footnote, not a memory, but one of the most powerful trainers in the entire Hoenn region. This isn't just a story about a rival. This is the hidden story of Wally and his transformation from a frail, timid boy to a titan of Pokemon battle. It's a story that redefines what a rival can be, and it's one of the most human, inspiring, criminally underrated stories in all of Pokemon history. Our story kicks off not with a challenge, but with a quiet, vulnerable plea. The first time we walk into the Petalburg gym, we're not met with a battle. We're met with a request for help. We're met by a small boy with pale skin, green hair, his little sprite hunched over like he's constantly apologizing. That's Wally as you meet him. And he's come to talk to our father Norman, not to ask for a battle, but to ask for help. Well, you see, Wally's moving away. He's moving to his relative's home, and he doesn't want to be lonely. He wants a friend. All he wants is to catch one single Pokemon. The game tells us that Wally is sick. It never specifies what it is, but a lot of fans have speculated that it's some sort of respiratory illness like asthma. I mean, it makes sense with the fact that he's moving to a place with specifically noted cleaner air for his health. This isn't some throwaway line of dialogue. It's the foundation of Wally's character. Unlike every other rival we've met, Wally's main struggle and opponent isn't us. It's his own body. His journey isn't even about becoming the best. It's about acquiring the tools to even start. This vulnerability immediately makes him different. The whole script is flipped on its head. Norman, our dad, the gym leader, gives us a task. Normally you would be taught how to catch a Pokemon. Here, you are the mentor, going with Wally to help him catch his first Pokemon. Your father loans him a Zigzagoon and you go with him to the tall grass to make sure that he's safe. And then something happens. A Ralts appears as if by pure luck. Now if you've ever played the Hoenn games, you know that finding Ralts is tedious at best and really difficult at worst. Yet for Wally, it shows up almost immediately. Kind of feels like fate. He catches it, and in that moment he's holding more than just his first Pokemon. He's holding up a mirror to himself. Ralts is a Pokemon all about hidden potential. It starts off with terrible base stats, is small, timid, and super sensitive. It hides from negative feelings, much like Wally shrinks away from people. But inside that small, fragile creature is a well of untapped potential. Either the graceful Gardevoir or the valiant warrior Gallade. The game just handed Wally a symbol for his own journey, a creature with untapped strength, just waiting for the confidence and the opportunity to flourish. This one act of kindness, this one shared moment where you go with Wally to catch that first Pokemon, never expecting to see him again, is the catalyst for everything to come. Wally thanks you. In the Gen 6 games, he updates your Pokenav and he's gone. And us, well, we're left to our own grand adventure. We've got gyms to beat, got a world to save. We have our real rival, Brendan and May, to deal with. And Wally, the sick kid from Petalburg, well, he becomes a distant memory. And that's completely by design. The brilliance of Wally's story is that most of it happens while we aren't looking. His growth isn't spoon-fed to us, it's not shoved in our face. It's built on long stretches of silence that make us wonder and ultimately leave us shocked by the results of his off-screen, unseen work. His story isn't about being our rival, it's about his personal war waged off-screen that we see the results of in the end. We get our first hint of this in Morville City. He's standing outside the gym pleading with his uncle to let him challenge it. He feels ready. He wants to challenge Watson. His uncle is understandably hesitant, still seeing Wally as that frail kid from a few weeks before. And so, Wally turns to the only benchmark of strength he has, us. The player challenges us to a battle, and at this point his confidence is way ahead of his skill. His team is still just that one Ralts. Yeah, it's a little bit stronger, but it's no match for a player who's got a full team and 2 gym badges. He loses easily. But what's important about this is Wally's reaction. There's no anger, no bitterness, no downplaying of our skill like you'd get from Blue or Silver. He knows that his uncle is right, that he isn't ready yet. That fire has been lit in Wally. In the remakes, the moment's even better. He wants to ask us if we will be his rival, but he's too shy to even make that declaration yet. But Wally has found his goal. He's found the mountain that he has to climb in this story. That mountain being us. After this, Wally kind of disappears from the main story. As for us, we go on, beat the gyms, stop a legendary, beat some evil teams, and go on to become a hero to the whole of the Hoenn region. All the while, Wally's on his own path. A path deliberately hidden by the game until the time is right. And yes, people have criticized us, saying the story is weak because we don't see his growth. But the silence is the story. Wally isn't our rival in the traditional sense. He's not the yardstick that we have to measure ourselves against to make sure that we're keeping up with what the game expects. In fact, he is not our rival. We are his rival. We are the distant, inspiring figure that he's trying desperately to catch up to. In the remakes, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, well, they actually give us a glimpse at Wally's journey and his off-screen struggle. If you visit his room, you'll see it's filled with Pokemon strategy books, with sticky notes stuck into them. There's a globe with pins to other regions, showing that he wants to travel to other regions. He wants to go on this journey, but he hasn't been able to because of his own illness. And the game reveals as you go. By the time you get to the Pokemon League and get 8 badges, Wally has already done it. Think about that. This timid kid that we helped catch his first Pokemon didn't just match us in our search for the Pokemon badges. In that quest, he blew right past us. Now, imagine his journey as a real thing. Imagine Wally struggling for breath in the heat of Flannery's gym, but going for it anyway. Imagine him climbing the tree houses in 4-3 City. It's something that would be challenging for anyone, but especially for him. He didn't have plot armor. He didn't have natural talent. He wasn't a chosen one. Every single victory Wally gets, he earns through sheer grit and determination. In the Pokemon Adventures manga, they show him training on top of Sky Pillar, using the thin air to strengthen his lungs. This isn't someone that's just training his Pokemon. He's training himself. He's going on a journey of self-discovery, pushing his limits, and growing into that person that he wants to be. Wally's journey is solitary, it's tough, and it's entirely self-motivated. He's not trying to be the best in the world. He's trying to be the best version of himself. And the next time we meet him, we realize he succeeded beyond his own wildest dreams. I'm talking about Victory Road, the final test, this treacherous cave that's the last barrier between you and the Pokemon League. Navigate its maze-like paths, challenge all the trainers within, you finally see the exit, and someone blocks your way. It's Wally. The music changes. It's not a familiar rival theme, it's something new. Music filled with this quiet intensity and triumphant resolve. It's Wally's new theme. He's transformed. That timid, hunched over boy, well, he's gone. Now, there's a confident young man standing straight up, eyes burning, waiting for you. He's looking at you not with arrogance, not with anger, but with gratitude and respect. Says thank you. Says that watching you is what gave him the strength to push forward. You were his inspiration. And now to prove to himself that he's overcome his weakness, it's time for his final test. It's finally time for him to battle with you. And the battle begins, and you see the full extent of his transformation. He's not just using that one little Ralts anymore. He's built a full team, a type diverse team, ready to take on the pinnacle of Pokemon battles. His team is strong. But let's talk about his ace. It's the Ralts that you helped him catch. That little creature that mirrored his own fragility. The one Pokemon that started off his entire journey. It's not a Ralts any longer. In the original Hoenn games, it was a Gardevoir, showing the blossoming potential of Wally coming into his own. The remakes took it a little bit further. He's got a Gallade. This timid little creature has transformed into a warrior. It's the physical embodiment of Wally's journey. He turned his inner psychic potential into tangible fighting strength. He's not a boy with hidden feelings anymore. He's a warrior, a trainer on your level who fought his way here. And just when you think you've seen it all, he reveals his final secret, holds up his arm, and he reveals that handmade wooden mega pendant. Not only has he fully evolved his team, his bond with his partner, forged through that sickness, through that struggle, has allowed him to unlock the peak, the pinnacle of Pokemon evolution, Mega Evolution. And as he shows off his Mega Gallade, Wally, the boy who was too weak to find a Pokemon on his own, is now wielding one of the most powerful forces in all of Pokemon. He mastered a technique that even elite trainers struggle with, not through destiny or by being chosen, but through his own relentless, quiet effort. Inevitably though, you beat him. You are the protagonist. This is your journey. And his reaction is the perfect final piece to that puzzle. There's a flash of frustration. He lost, but it's immediately replaced by gratitude. He thanks you for the battle. He's proud of how far he's come, and he doesn't see this as a failure, just as another step in his journey. He even gives you a Dawnstone, the item you need to get a Gallade, to commemorate that battle and the bond between the two of you. In this one battle, Wally delivers one of the most satisfying and emotionally resonant moments in the entire franchise. He proves that a rival doesn't need to be your enemy to be good. Sometimes they just need to be someone that can inspire you, like you inspire them. And if you're finding Wally's story as inspiring as I do, consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell. I will be doing deep dive Pokemon lore like this as often as I can, uncovering the hidden stories that make this franchise so special. And let me know in the comments, what are your thoughts about Wally? Do you consider him the most underrated rival? Or do you think his absence in the story hides and holds him back? I'd love to hear your take on this. But back to why Wally redefines rivalry. To really get why Wally's arc is a masterpiece, you'll have to look at what a Pokemon rival is supposed to be. They made the mold with Blue, and the series followed that template for a while. Blue was the classic rival. Arrogant, condescending, and always one step ahead. He picked a sort that was strong against yours, showed up at the worst times, and always pushed you to a level that you thought you were already at. His whole reason for being was to prove that he was better than you. Beating Blue wasn't just a game objective, it was personal. It was proving that you'd grown beyond his taunts, and that you were now the strongest. With Silver, he wasn't just arrogant, he was cruel. He stole his first Pokemon, he saw his Pokemon as nothing but tools for his own objectives. His arc was about unlearning his father Giovanni's ideology. He was basically a villain, and you reformed him by Pokemon battle after Pokemon battle, showing him a better way. Those two set the standard. A rival is an opponent. They're a roadblock. And then there's Wally, and he just shattered the mold completely. His story suggests that a rival doesn't need to be an antagonist. In fact, his journey is almost entirely separate from yours. We're not his opponent, we're his role model. We are the embodiment of what he wants to be. He's not motivated by spite, but by the desire to stand next to us as an equal. This completely reframes the rival dynamic. It's not a zero-sum game. It's not about dominance. It's about mutual inspiration and growing from each other. That's what makes Wally so uniquely human. Very few of us have a lifelong, trash-talking antagonist rival. But a lot of us have someone we look up to, a source of inspiration, a role model. That's Wally's story. He represents a more mature and healthy form of competition. He's not driven by envy, but by admiration. His desire for self-improvement is inspired by the greatness he sees in others. His story also tackles a theme that Pokemon usually shies away from: physical struggle. Pokemon's usually a power fantasy. Wally's story is about overcoming adversity in the most grounded form. He's fighting two battles, not just his Pokemon journey, but his own physical journey. His illness is this quiet, constant battle that makes you want to cheer for him, makes his final triumph so much more earned than any other rivals. He didn't start with natural talent. He didn't start with a famous grandfather. He started with a disadvantage, and he had nothing but his determination to pull himself up through that entire story to stand on our level. His journey feels more real because the battles weren't just about Pokemon battles. He reminds us that the most important victories are the ones we win against ourselves. So why is Wally so often called underrated or forgotten? It comes down to how subtle his story is. The game doesn't spoon feed you, doesn't tell you exactly what Wally's doing at any moment in time. In a world of in-your-face loud rivals who are always demanding your attention, Wally's story unfolds in the margins. His growth happens off-screen, and his motivation is internal, not external. The game asks you to pay attention, to connect the dots between this frail boy that you see in Petalburg City and this champion-level trainer that you meet in Victory Road. The clues are there if you look for them, but they're not in your face, they're not obvious. You actually have to look. It doesn't hand you Wally's story. It lets you discover it on your own if you're paying attention. Because of this, a lot of players miss the genius of Wally's arc. They see his absence as a flaw, not a deliberate choice to highlight his independence. But when you look at his journey, it's undeniable that Wally's something special. He proves that strength isn't about winning battles. It's about the courage to start when you are at your weakest. It's about that quiet dedication to improving day by day, even when no one's watching. It's about being inspired by others without becoming jealous of them. Wally isn't the best because he's the strongest or he's the cockiest. He's the best rival because his story is the most human. It's a powerful, uplifting story about being free of your own limits. While Wally may not have become the Hoenn champion, he became strong enough to be recognized as one of the strongest trainers in the region, being invited to the Battle Maison because of his own achievements, nothing to do with you. His victory was won before he ever challenged you. It was in the moment he decided to fight. All that struggle that he went through to become a trainer worthy of Victory Road. He became a champion in his own right, and arguably, he became the most inspiring rival in all of Pokemon history.